Okay, what we're going to be working on today is one-point perspective drawing of letters. So we're going to set it up with the horizon line of vanishing point. It's going to be 1-point perspective. Our end result is going to come out something kind of like this. We're going to do a worm's eye view and a bird's eye view. One where the letters go the whole way back to the vanishing point and one where we cut some of the letters off. So this is an example. Your finished piece should probably be colored in. So to start this off, what we're going to do, first of all, you need to put your name on the bottom and your class ID, and then flip your paper over. Next, you're going to take your ruler, you're going to line it up close to the bottom edge of the paper, and you're going to draw your horizon line. Okay, at the 6-inch mark, or roughly in the middle, put a dot. So in the middle you have your dot, and then you have your horizon line. Next, somewhere up towards the top part of the paper, you're going to take your ruler and lightly, so it's easy to erase, you're going to sketch at the top and the bottom of the ruler. What this does is it gives you a guideline for where you can put your first set of letters. The other thing that gives you a guideline is where your vanishing point is at, so you can put part of the letters here and part of the letters here. For the name Hannah, it's a 5-letter name, so I'm going to start in the middle with an N, and I'm just going to put in stick letters first, and then an N, and then an A. And then on the other side, I need an A. Give me an A. Give me an H. And you want to draw these in kind of lightly too. The next thing I'm going to put on the bottom is art. So I'm going to put an R. Now you can pick whatever words, whatever letters you'd like as long as they are school appropriate. Okay. And then in order to fatten these up, what we're going to do is you just kind of trace around them. It's very similar to how whenever you start to draw stick figure people, you take and you fatten them up. You can do this with pretty much any letter. To make a block kind of letter. I'm doing this rather quickly. You guys would want to take your time. You can pause the video as needed. It all depends on how many letters you have in your name, or in whatever word it is you chose for the bottom down here, as to how long it'll take you. Okay, the next step is you're going to want to erase out, and I'm just going to do it in one, but you want to erase out the letter that's on the inside. Okay, you can take the time, you can pause the video and go back through and erase all of the letters at this point. I'm going to continue on. The first thing that I'm going to go over is how to take the letters up top and line them back up with the vanishing point. The other thing you want to do before you do that is get rid of these lines here. So I'm going to flip my paper this way because I find it a little bit easier to erase. And I'm going to erase the lines around Hannah. Doing that just so it gives me a clear shot to the vanishing point. Okay, next, what you're going to do, my pencil is always going to go from the vanishing point, and I'm going to go from each corner of my letter. Depending on what letters you have, the corners will be different. You can start at the bottom, or you could just go letter by letter. And what you do is, like here, I'm going to stop when I hit the bottom part of the H there. I'm going to go from here, take it down. Also, don't forget the top parts here. Just go from there, make sure it's lined up with the vanishing point, and sketch it back to here. And then if you look at this one, I'm going to hit the A, so when I get to the A, I stop. Okay? Then I'm going to go back to the bottom. So you do this with all of the letters. Try and keep hitting the vanishing point at the same spot if you can. And if you're not sure if you should put a line somewhere, you can always just double check. If it's going to hit a letter or go behind a letter, then you don't put a line there. Don't forget to check the top parts of your letters here, the top corners. I wouldn't have any there, probably because it's right by the vanishing point or over top of the vanishing point. Some of those views get a little bit difficult to put in. They look silly, but as long as they are perspectively correct, then they're good to go. I'm not going to have a line there. All right. So at this point, you can leave this like this. Maybe for this one, that looks a little awkward, so I'm going to straighten this up some. See if I have a straighter line. If I'd have a line going back, I think I would. And I would. So sometimes you can go in and make adjustments to your letters if something looks like it's a little bit off, and it might make it look a little bit more dynamic. So these ones, we have them going the whole way back. I'll do the same thing here. This one here I wouldn't have, I'd have just, it's pretty much on that line that's already there, so that's good. So these ones here, we're going to leave them like this. The A, R, and T, what we're going to do is we're going to take the lines back, and then we're going to cut it off. So for the top of the A, it goes back, and this is a bird's eye view because we'd be seeing the top of the letter. I'm going to take this back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go at this angle and I'm going to finish this off. So it just makes the letter look like it's pretty thick. And then you can kind of measure that and put in those lines at the same angle as what they are there. Those ones will be full. And then you can erase the line from there back. Okay? You do the same thing for the R and the T or whatever letters it is that you chose. You just mimic whatever shape that you have for the letter in the front in the back. And the nice thing about perspective is you can always double check with your vanishing point to make sure that things are going correctly. So for the T, we might stop it there, sketch a line over, and then have a shape going like this. Okay, one thing you can do to finish this is you can add value. So maybe I want to make, like for my T example, I'm going to make my T white, okay, because like the light's hitting it on this side. Then this side of the T will be very dark. So I'm going to shade this in quite a bit. And you want to think about everything that we've learned so far about value. The top of it is going to be shaded in some, but it'll be a little lighter. And then the side will also be shaded in, maybe a little bit darker at the top, and then lighter as it gets down towards the bottom. And what that's going to do is it's going to create some value around the T, and it's going to make it stand out. So you can do this with value. You could do this by putting some kind of a design, like a Zentangle design in the letter or for the background. The other thing you could do is you could add color. So for this one, if we were going to add color, I would recommend doing something like warm versus cool, or maybe some complementary colors. So warm colors, if you don't remember, they're in your art book. Warm colors would be colors like red, orange, yellow, and cool colors would be colors like blue, violet, and green. Okay? The tertiary colors would be intermixed in between. And then the complementary colors, they are yellow, violet, blue, and orange, or red and green. So you might want to take a moment and write this down on the back of your sheet in case you forget it. Okay? So when you go to color this in, maybe I want to do complementary colors of blue and orange for art. So I'm going to, for the A, and you can shade it in. You can use the value that we just looked at, and do that with your colored pencils too. The harder you press with a colored pencil, the more intense the color is going to be. The lighter you press with a pencil, the more you're going to get more of a pastel kind of color. It won't be quite as intense. Okay, and then for the colors around it, I'm going to use blue. So you can make this your color scheme for just certain colors, but do something if you have time in class to make it stand out a little bit more. Make your colors really, or your letters really pop. You don't have to do the same colors for each letters. You could change it up. If you want them to look a little bit more stylized, you could outline them, all the lines with black if you wanted to. It's an option. Maybe you want to do that before you start to color it in. Just remember with the colored pencils, please make sure that you're using the colored pencil sharpeners that you have to sign out. Don't use the crank pencil sharpeners. Alright, so you are finished whenever this is all colored in, or designed out, or shaded in.